now we can get started with some reading. You're going to put away whatever you're working on. You can get out reading notebooks. That way you have it. Because we're going to review about some theme and visual features. You got some stuff in your notebook that might be helpful. So you can get that out. You're also going to then open your iPad up to the discussion you did yesterday. We're going to go over that. So I'll give you a minute to get situated. Yeah, you're going to open up to the answers that you posted for this discussion, so you can get your iPad out. All right. So you read a story about Omachias and some bears, right? It's called The Birch Bark House. Now, this was just an excerpt from a much longer book, okay? What did you think of the story? What did you think? Thumbs up? I got some sideways thumbs. I got some thumbs up. Tell me why or why you didn't like it. What'd you think of it? Tell me something about it. Sean?
It was interesting.
Okay, what made it interesting?
I don't know, was getting attacked by the bear.
Okay.
And being able to get out of it.
That was kind of an interesting situation that she got herself into and then was somehow able to get herself out of it. Other thoughts? Kenny?
I just don't really get why they had to put those berries in there because they were never really used in the story.
Why was she collecting berries?
Well, because she had to bring them back,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't get why they had to add why they were so good and why she found them if she wasn't going to use them.
What was she going to do with them? What was the point of those, Maya? Right, so it's part of that story with her sisters. So she was finding them because she was going to share them, and then she isn't going to share them. Okay, there's a lot going on in this story. That's why I kind of broke it down to these questions. We're going to talk a little bit more about the story today. That's why I gave you the paper I gave you. Okay. First, the main character is Omachias, right? She's our main character. She's the one that we hear the most from. We're understanding what's happening to her. What's her conflict or her problem? Conflict or problem, Josh? Yeah, and she didn't run away. From the story, it doesn't give us kind of all of the previous information, but she left to go get something, and but she does. Her feelings are hurt, right? She was upset. Her sister wasn't very kind to her. She kind of looks up to her sister, right? So what does the character want? What does Omachias want? Think about that somebody wanted but so then statement. Omachias wants what, Juliana? Right, she wants her sister to be nice. She wants her sister to respect her, right, and kind of treat her as an equal. So what does she decide to do? What does she decide to do? How does she deal with this problem of, I want my sister to, she wants her sister to be a lot of things, right? Envious, she wants her to respect her, she wants her to be nice. What does she decide to do? Kenny?
Find really tasty berries. And
Okay, it starts that way,
decide to
right?
not share them with her.
Right? Starts that way. I think she has a lump of sugar maple too, right? That she's debating. Do I keep it for myself? Do I share it? I'll collect berries. She'll like that. And then what else presents itself in the story? Sean?
I had a question about the
Sure.
problem one. Couldn't her getting be attacked by a
That's part of what keeps her from the problem. So her problem is, in the beginning of the story, she wants her sister to like her, right?
Yeah.
But something happens. So this is what happens, right? She gets attacked by those bears, and that kind of changes her mind and plays into it. Yeah, you could say that's that's another problem, right? That's the problem that's keeping her from getting what she wants. Okay.
I took both of them because I wasn't sure.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, no, that's good that you marked them both down and saw that they were both issues she needed to deal with, right? Okay, good. So she wants her sister to be envious, right? To respect her, but she runs into these bears, these bear cubs. And what does she decide she could do? What does she think she's gonna do? Ava?
Take them home.
Yeah, she's like, oh, I'll take them home. She'll really be envious, right? She'll really respect me then. Why does she think to do that, Nick? Why, Adam? I heard you had some thoughts. Yeah, they're bears. Like you said, they're bears, right? She's brave to have to do this. Good.
Isn't that not smart at all? No.
Exactly. That's not smart at all. And how does she learn that? She realizes that because what happens? She's like, oh, these bear cubs are lost. She gives them berries. I'll take them home. But what stops her from being able to do that? June? Yeah, Mama Bear shows up, right? Mama Bear's not too happy with her.
Isn't it grandmother bear?
She calls her grandmother bear. The words that she used calls her that, but she's Mama Bear to those cubs, right? So, Eli, what else?
She met the mama bear, and the mama bear wasn't happy because she practically stole her children.
Yep. She did.
Yes, but I think there could have been a solution, another solution to that. The girl could have reverse psychology the bear, and then just left the kids there and act like she wasn't there at all.
Yeah. Tried to fool the bear. What does she do in the end? What happens in the end? Kenny?
She realizes that it wasn't a good idea to try and impress her sister with the bears.
Yeah, she
It was
decides.
kind of stupid.
Right, it wasn't a smart idea, right? She has to calmly get herself out of this situation. She's now put herself in with this mother bear. Okay, so those are kind of the basic information from that story. Like I said, we're gonna dig a little deeper into it as we go, but that's the basic thing. So Omachias was our character. You could have written down both conflicts. Okay, you should have. If you didn't, maybe add to your post, right? These are good notes to review before we take the test next week. So the two conflicts, first she wants to impress her sister, and she encounters these bears. Okay, two conflicts. How does she deal with the conflict of her sister? Nick?
She goes out and gets the bear social thing. She's brave because she wants her to respect her.
Right, so she thinks she's going to use these bears. What happens? Does she get respect from her sister? Does she get her sister to be envious? What does she decide in the end, Kenny?
That it's better to be smart than to try and do stupid things.
Okay, to maybe think about what you're doing, right?
So think before you act.
Okay, good. Think before you act. Be smart, right? Think about what you're doing. Okay. Riker?
I have a question.
Sure.
Was this a long time ago?
This is just I think this is a historical fiction, isn't it, the genre? Let's look. Yep, historical fiction. So it's just a made-up story.
Well, if it was real and it was old-timey, back then nobody had brains. So
I don't know about that.
It was
That's
just-
a little.
Back
That's a
then,
little.
It was just like you have to
silly.
do stupid stuff to survive. So it was,
They did have to do some crazy things to survive,
They
didn't
had
they?
raisin-sized
So.
brains.
And keep in mind, like, they aren't living like we are today, right? They're living
Yeah,
out
they
there
didn't-
open in the wild.
they
So.
didn't have like
All right.
playgrounds and
They had to
So,
stick a raisin up
she
their ear.
maybe doesn't make the right decisions with her sister when it comes to her sister, right? We really don't know in the end kind of what happens, but she decides probably not a good idea. Okay? We also know that she does end up getting away from the mama bear. Okay? The mama bear kind of spares her life in that case. So those are the basics. All right? Sean, question, comment?
I honestly thought that her mother was a poor old woman with no money, so they had to survive in the woods.
Well, they are living in the woods, right? It's historical fiction. They're living there, and she had to go somewhere to get something. So, like I said, they aren't living like we are today, right? It's very different,
They don't
okay?
have houses, they have people. Well, actually,
Possibly,
they're lucky that they
depending
don't
on
have
what
to
kind
pay
of
rent.
tribe she's with.
Oh, yeah.
All right,
They don't have to pay rent.
let's look at this. 3, 2. Those of you here have it. Those of you at home can just kind of jot it down in a notebook. I didn't post it. So we're going to look at the character's qualities, the character's motives, and the character's actions. on this theme chart, and then we're going to come up with a theme. Okay, so when we talk about a character, we look at a couple of different things. Okay, we look at qualities, characteristics, and we look at feelings. Okay, so think about those two things, characteristics and feelings. How are they alike? How are they different? Okay, feelings and qualities, characteristics. What can you tell me about them? Can you tell me about a character's qualities? Riker?
Like qualities, like what they wore and stuff?
Not those kind of qualities, no. So think personality,
Oh,
your traits. What makes you you? What makes you you?
I know what makes Riker Riker.
What makes Riker Riker, Eli?
Screaming.
No, that's not a quality. Sean?
Is it like good or bad, like qualities?
They could be either or. They could be good, they could be bad. Nick?
Your brain, because your brain controls you, so like it controls.
It's part of who makes you, what makes you who you are. Okay. Kenny? Daring, yes. So think back to, we talked about some things that were theme, right? Courage, bravery, hardworking. Those are all some qualities that we might find in characters or ourselves. Are you determined? Are you hardworking? Okay. Are you athletic? Are you good with math? Are you good in reading? What are your qualities? All right, ready? Now think about feelings. Can I feel happy 1 minute and then sad the next minute?
That means you're bipolar.
Not necessarily. Nope, not necessarily. What can make me happy and then make me sad? Why could I be happy 1 second and then I get some bad news and it makes me sad, right? My point is feelings change and they change quickly, right? Okay? Characteristics don't change or they take time to change. So in our story here, Omachias learns a very hard lesson, doesn't she? Okay? Think about her feelings. How was she feeling at the beginning of the story? Sad, right? What happens as she gets closer to the incident with the bears? She starts to feel how, Jackson?
happy.
She starts to feel happy, right? Confident. She's got an idea. This is going to happen. She encounters the bear. How is she feeling now? Nervous, scared, right? In the end, how is she feeling, Sean?
Well, I have something about.
Well, let's do mine first.
She's feeling kind of happy that she got away from there.
Okay, relieved, right? She's relieved. She kind of learned this lesson. So her feelings changed consistently throughout the story. Think about her character, who she is as a person. Okay, we don't see a whole lot of change, right? She stays kind of the same person until maybe the end because she learned this lesson. All right, what can you tell me about Omachias at the beginning? What are some characteristics that describe her? I need eyes up here. Sean?
Would you say that she's kind of dumb with nature because she walked up to 2 bear cubs? Yeah, she is.
I don't know that I would use the word dumb, but
I already said that they have no brains.
maybe I would say she was curious, right? Okay, she kind of let her curiosity get the better of her, didn't she? And she didn't think about her actions. So she might be impulsive. What's that word mean? Somebody's impulsive. What's that mean, Maya? Yeah, they just kind of jump right in and they don't think about it. So we see her being impulsive, right? Kind of throughout the beginning of the story. Boys, I need you listening. Okay? What do you think she learns in this story about being impulsive and just doing something without thinking about it? What does she learn? Brendan? Yeah, probably to think before. I think Kenny mentioned that, right? Think before you act. Okay, think before you do something, exactly. All right, let's look at this. So we're going to talk about Omachias on this. Okay? Characters, qualities. Well, we just talked about some. She's impulsive, right? So you can write that down. Impulsive. Let me go over here. I've got to erase our math problem from yesterday. There we go. All right. So those of you at home, as I said, you can just draw this chart. Character qualities like I'm going to do here. We said impulsive. What else? What else can we say about Omachias? What else does she care about? What else does she worry about? Jackson? What does she want at the beginning of the story? Right, she wants her sister to respect her, right? She cares about how other people think about her. So cares about how sister feels.
Will you write this?
Yep, towards her. On that chart I gave you. So these are like some notes.
Like character qualities.
Yep, character qualities. Okay.
Do we put 2 dots after impulsive? Or is that just being a...
Well, this is like 2 separate things. You split it up however you want. Yeah, it has an E on the end.
It's not easy.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Take a minute, write those things down. Let's talk about impulsive. What were details that supported our decision that she was impulsive? What things did we say made her that way? Kenny?
She was eager to eat the berries and she didn't even know what they were. They could have been poisonous.
Okay, eager to eat the berries. What else? What else did she do? Sean?
She walked up to bear cubs and, yeah.
Okay, walked up to 2 bear cubs, thought she was going to take them home, right? I don't know too many people that would do that. We encountered a bear on one of our trips, and I was the first one to turn around and run. My husband says, "Here, give me the camera, I'm going to take a picture." I said, "No, I'm out." That mama bear's not going to be happy, right? So she decided to do that without really thinking the consequences, did she? Okay. What shows us, what details here show us that she cares about how her sister feels? Author's words that support our decision here. Juliana?
I think it's somewhere where her sister makes fun of her.
And what does she want to do because her sister makes fun of her? You're right.
Makes her like she wants to make her sister like proud of her, so she like respects her more.
Right. She's trying to figure out a way that her sister would be proud of her and respect her more. So we have those details that support this part. Okay? Kenny?
She wants her to envy. She wants her sister to envy her.
Right, she wants her sister to be envious. Yep. So let's look at this. That kind of goes here. If we continue our thing here, I don't want to do that. What you guys are telling me goes here, right? Her motives were to impress her sister, right? She does both of these things to impress her sister, doesn't she? Okay? So we'll put that in here as motives. What does it mean, motives? Get on this side so you guys can see again. Characters' motives. Maya, what's that mean?
It's like if you like trying to do something,
Say that one more time.
like if you were trying to do something, like maybe your family would like encourage you, that would like motivate you.
It's you're doing things for this reason, right? It's what's making you do this stuff. Okay, so a motive is what's encouraging you to make the decisions you're making. Okay, that's what a motive is. And then we have actions. So this theme chart is another way to kind of see what our character is learning. What were Omakaias' actions? So we kind of talked about all these looking at this. Almost should have did our chart this way, right? Should have started here, here, and then ended there. John, what do you think? Actions.
She walked up to Bear. Because she wanted to take them home to her cousin's sister.
Yep, walked up to bear cubs. I'm gonna put a comma here. Wanted to take them home. Okay. Those out of the way. Kenny?
She picked berries.
Yep, she was picking the berries, right?
The berries and found a sweet sugar plum.
So she was maybe gonna share them, right?
What about the sugar thing?
And that was given to her on her trip. And what does she do with that? You're right. What about that? Who said that?
Me.
Okay, Riker. What about that? You're right.
She was debating on sharing it or not.
Right. She debates on sharing it or not. What does she end up doing?
Doesn't share it.
I feel like she does not share it. I feel like she does end up eating it all herself, right? And at the beginning there, she pops the whole thing in her mouth and decides, you know what? I'm not gonna share it, right? Running out of room. So we'll say eats all of the sugar maple. And she does that out of anger, doesn't she? Okay, she eats that whole thing out of anger because she was upset with her sister, and then these other things kind of happen as well. Okay? So 3 things to think about.
All of the sugar maple.
All of it, yep.
I have the sugar maple.
Oh, it's called sugar maple?
That's what it was, yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna make a new name.
What's that?
I still got
The stuff that like just comes from the side of trees?
It sounded like a hard candy to me is how
Yeah.
they kind of described it. But I would think being it was maple, it was, yes, like from a tree.
That sounds really good right now.
Okay.
Like honey bowl.
Is it king
A
size?
honey bowl. It's just like a
Is it
thing
king
where
size?
you put it in,
I don't know.
honey in it,
Maybe.
put it in your mouth, and stick it in.
All right, 3.
King size, I will.
2, let's think about now back to our theme. We talked a lot about her character, who she is, what she did, why she did it. And I think we come back to that same conclusion for our theme. What is it, Emmy? Not anger. What does Omakaias learn? She was angry, right? What does she learn from being angry and what she goes through? What happens? That was one of her feelings, right? At some point she was angry towards the beginning. She was upset. She was sad. She starts to build confidence. She's got a plan. Now she's happy. She gets scared from the bears. In the end, she's relieved. She realizes something. What is our theme? Oh, we got 2 hands. Waiting on a few more. What does Omakaias learn? What could we learn from her? What do you think, Riker?
The theme isn't, she,
What's
like, the theme is,
Say it again?
um,
Yeah, what's the theme?
the theme is kind of like,
Okay, so that's giving an example of the theme of what she learned, right?
You don't see the mama bear, and then the mama bear just comes up behind her down the beginning.
Right. So you're giving us an example, right? Okay, if you see a bear cub, stay away. She learned that. What is the more general lesson? Juliana? I got close to my TV. Okay, she did, didn't she? She thought the bear cubs were alone, and she did jump to conclusion. Okay, good. I like that. Sean?
I kind of have two.
Okay.
One is don't be impulsive.
Don't be impulsive.
Think about stuff before you do it.
Good.
And even if someone's being mean to you, you can be nice to them.
Okay. So a couple of things. Kenny?
Think before you speak / act.
Okay, so in her case, think before you act, right? Think before you do something, kind of what Sean was saying. Same thing with Juliana. We all kind of covered the same thing, didn't we? We just may have used some different words, okay? So you should think about what you're doing and why you're doing it. Don't jump to conclusion, right? Okay, and don't do something impulsive. So your theme, I'm writing mine up here at the top. Yours on that paper is at the bottom. Okay, so theme. I think we want to say think before we act, right? Think before you act, and don't, I want to say, jump to conclusion. Run out of room. Or be impulsive. Period. I'm going to erase this. Those of you that need to see it can pause the video. That way we can see our theme. All right. So there we go. Theme of our story for Omakayas. Okay? So that's just another way to look at it. You look at the character, see what they went through, okay? Write those things down and then come up with your theme. Another way to do it next to the notes we were taking last week. So that I would hold on to. This is a great little kind of note sheet. If you wrote it in your notebook, you've already got it in there. This paper I'm not collecting. You can fold it in half, slide it in your notebook, okay? Might help you with what you're going to do for your reading assignment. So I'm going to come over here. If you need that theme written down so you can pause it, I'm going to slide over here. Yep, slide that paper in your notebook. There we go. Oh, stay. Yes.
Should I be able to stick my finger through one side of my mask and then have it come up?
Some of them have the opening to put like a filter in that you can remove. So yeah, that's why it's like that. All right, I need eyes up here. Yesterday you had 2 assignments. This Birch Bark House discussion, and then you needed to submit a vocabulary crossword. Please make sure you did those 2 from yesterday. Today, I have a Birch Bark House comprehension worksheet. Let me hit preview, start new attempt. So you have 1 true or false, and then down here you have some questions it's going to ask you about. Illustrations. We've been talking about illustrations, okay, and pictures and how they help a story. So you're going to give me some information here. This one, it says predict what will happen next after the story ends. So when it ends, we just know Omakayas is relieved and the bear lets her go, right? I want to know what happens after that. What do you think happens after that? Okay? Is her sister going to be surprised, not surprised, but wonder where she's been, why were you gone so long? Is she still going to be mad at her sister? Okay, what's going to happen now that she's gotten away from the bear and kind of learned a lesson? All right, number 4, what lesson do you think the bear cubs learned? So we talked about Omakayas. I want you to think about the bear cubs. What did they learn in that process and all of that, what happened? And then down here, what does the mother bear teach Omachias? Notice I say, how do you know? How do you know? Why do you think so? Should these be one sentence answers? No. Okay, they're asking for evidence. How do you know is a way of saying, give me evidence. Okay? So there should be a couple of sentences in each of these boxes for these ones that you have to type. Go back to the story, look up the evidence if you need to. Remember, author's words, author's details, the text states. Okay? An example is, you can use some of those story starters for that worksheet. So that is your reading assignment for today.